It's that time of the season, and today I'm going to be making some homemade chicken noodle soup. Now, most people traditionally add egg noodles to their chicken noodle soup, but I'm going to be using some fettuccine pasta, and I'm going to be using some chicken breasts with this soup too. So besides making the homemade chicken noodle soup, I am going to also make some homemade garlic bread. Now the garlic bread will be using some common staples. I am using some Italian bread, but you can use any type of bread that you like for instance sourdough bread or ciabatta, but everything else you can find in your cabinets. So first I'm going to be starting off with some carrots and some celery. I'm going to be prepping that. So I'm peeling it with my peeler, and of course I have brushed it off, washed it and everything. So I'm going to be using my peeler to peel that. It's 2 carrots. I'm going to do the same thing with the celery. I won't be peeling it, but I'll be chopping that up into small pieces. Now generally I would use my food processor for this, but I was like, you know what? I can do it. I can cut it. I can chop it. You all know that I usually don't dice on the camera because I'm like, I'm not a professional chef, so it's not going to look all pretty and neat and everything. But with the carrots, I'm going to be slicing those like into the circles. And with the celery, the quickest and easiest thing for me was just to chop off the tops and the bottoms, split it in the middle, and then just chop it from there. Now notice as I'm cutting up these veggies that I have not added onions. Now if you like onions, you should definitely slice up some onions and add it to this recipe. However, in my home, my husband does not like onions, so I will not be chopping up any onions. However, I will be adding some onion powder to this. Now, of course, it's not the same as having fresh onions, but it does keep my home happy. So again, in this recipe, I'll be skipping the onions. However, on my website at plussizeinchicago.com, if you search for the homemade chicken noodle soup recipe, you will see an option to add onions or onion powder. Now the next thing I'm going to be doing is getting my Dutch oven prepped. So I have the heat turned up on medium, and I'm adding some butter as well as some olive oil. And when adding olive oil with butter, as a combination, it's basically just to help keep the butter from burning too quickly, but it also does give it some more flavor. So I'm also going to add those veggies that I had cut up, so the celery and the carrots, and if you're doing onions, you would add your onions here. And I'm going to simmer this for about 5 minutes, and I'm going to be stirring it so it doesn't burn, but I want these veggies to sweat and add some flavor. This simmering again is going to be for about 5 minutes, and once I'm done, I'm going to move those veggies into another bowl. But while those are heating up, I'm going to start getting my chicken breasts together. Now, normally when I make this recipe, I'll use like 2 large chicken breasts. But when I was getting the packaging together, I wasn't sure how large the breasts were because they were like compacted and frozen. So what I did was just take out like 2 packs of chicken breasts, which ended up being 4. So if you want to, you can just do 2 large chicken breasts, but for this right now I'm doing 4. So I've rinsed those off, I've added some olive oil, and I'm adding my favorite seasoning, which is from Weber Grills, the Kickin' Chicken seasoning. Now you can use any type of all-purpose seasoning if you don't have the Weber's Kickin' Chicken seasoning. However, if you are looking for that, you can find it at Walmart. It's also on Amazon. If you click the link in the video description, I have like a lot of the things that I'm cooking with, seasonings, tools, things of that nature. I have it on my Amazon influencer page. So getting back to these veggies, I have let them sweat in the olive oil and the butter, and I'm going to remove them and put it into this bowl. And now I'm going to sear those chicken breasts. So I'm going to do 2 at a time, and I'm going to sear like each side for like 4 minutes. So 4 minutes on one side and 4 minutes on the other side. Once those are done heating up again for 4 minutes, I'm going to take it out and I'm going to add the second batch into that. And from there, I'm going to set those chicken breasts aside. Now, I do have a seasoning combination that I used for this recipe. So it is the rosemary, onion powder, the thyme, the black pepper, the garlic powder. And I'm going to get that together into like a little Tupperware container, so that it's just going to be easier for me to pour into the soup mixture, you know, when it's time. And the ingredients, the amount for the recipe can be found on my website at plussizeinchicago.com. So now that all 4 chicken breasts, I've seared them on both sides for 4 minutes each, I'm putting all the chicken breasts into that pot, adding the drippings, and we're gonna start getting that broth together. So this is going to include some minced garlic. I'm also going to add those veggies that I had sauteed earlier. So those are going back into the pot. And then I'm also going to be adding that seasoning mixture that we had got together earlier. So again, that was the rosemary, the onion powder, the thyme, the black pepper, as well as the garlic powder. And I'm just going to pour all of that inside the pot. Now the next thing that I'm going to add, which is like the best thing for this chicken broth, is the chicken base or the chicken bouillon from Better Than Bouillon. Now they have several varieties of their chicken flavors, so you can pick any one of them and it's gonna work out just fine. So I only had like a little bit left inside of this container because I use it a lot during the season. But you're just going to use like 1/4 cup of the chicken bouillon into this. The next thing I'm doing is adding like 10 cups of water, and that's basically to get that broth together. And then once that has simmered for about 30 minutes with the top on, then I'm going to add my noodles. But for now, we're just getting the broth together. So while that is simmering, I'm like, you know what? Let's get started on this garlic bread. So I'm using some parsley. I'm using 1 stick of butter. And I don't have this recipe on my website. So now if you do want to make this, you should be paying attention. So I have like that stalk of parsley. I'm chopping this up. And I got that 1 stick of butter that I'm going to use. Now for the butter, it was in the refrigerator and I put it in the microwave for like 30 seconds on like half power. And that softened the butter like much faster. So the next thing I'm going to do is add some minced garlic. So this is probably like between 2 and 3 tablespoons of garlic. I love garlic. A lot of people don't like garlic. I love garlic. So I add about 2 or 3 tablespoons of minced garlic, as well as that parsley. I'm adding a little bit of salt. You can skip this salt, especially if you are using like a grated Parmesan cheese. I'm using this canned version, so it actually did have some salt in there. So that's one of the things that I learned while making this, that I probably should have just skipped that salt. So you're gonna add your Parmesan cheese, whether it's fresh or if it's in the canister like I just had. Once you mix all that together, you let it sit for a little bit, and then you're going to spread it onto your bread. Now, the bread that I'm using is it's an Italian bread that I've gotten from the local market. So you can use Italian bread, you can use ciabatta, sourdough bread, a French baguette. It's really up to you and what you're in the mood for. But I wanted to get this Italian bread, so what I'm doing is using my bread knife and I'm splitting it down the side, and I'm going to cut it so that I can have it open face. Once I open it up, I'm just gonna slather that butter all over it. And again, using the ingredients that I have, like that 1 stick of butter is actually enough for this entire loaf. I was actually surprised. I thought I wasn't gonna have enough, but it was definitely enough. Using a spatula when adding the butter is gonna be your best friend. Don't try to do this with a knife. A spatula will be your best friend for getting this on there. Now again, slathering it on both sides. And the next thing I'm going to do is add some paprika. You can use regular paprika or you can use smoked paprika. I thought adding the smoked flavor would make it nice, and it actually was. So you're gonna bake this in the oven at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about 15 minutes. and just check on it while it's baking, just to make sure that it doesn't overcook, and take it out, and it's ready to eat. It was smelling so good in the kitchen, and I was like, wait a minute, I can't eat any right now. I gotta take photos and do the video of this, and I still gotta wait for my chicken noodle soup to be done. But yeah, so of course this got cooked pretty quickly, and I'm gonna get back over to my chicken noodle soup, and it's pretty much almost done. So the next step you're going to do is take your chicken breast out, because these are done. They've been simmering for like 30 minutes. And what I did was, once I took them out, I kind of like chopped it up with my tongs. And see, these are the fettuccine noodles that I was talking about. So those are gonna be cooking for about 12 minutes. I took out pretty much most of that box, and I broke it in half so that the noodles are kind of like the Campbell's soup noodles that you get. So again, this is going to be cooking for like about 10 to 12 minutes. But meanwhile, while it's simmering, I am getting that chicken breast together. So I use my tongs to cut open that chicken. You can use a knife if you want, but I thought the tongs just made it easier. So again, while those noodles are cooking, I'm just going to add the chicken breast back into that pot so that all the flavors get to meld together and to have like a really nice flavor with everything. So once I get the chicken breast in there, I'm going to add a top on there, and again, let those noodles cook. Fettuccine noodles take a little bit longer to cook as compared to like spaghetti noodles. So you just want to make sure that everything is done. Another thing that I did while I was making this, and of course this is optional, I added some more parsley to this just to make it look pretty, as well as added some green onions. Now, my husband does not know that I added a little bit of green onions, so I chopped up some green onions and added a little bit in there. Only way he's gonna know is if he watches this video. But yeah, I thought that it really topped off the flavor. I also added a little bit more to my own bowl of soup later on. But as you can see, the noodles are cooking, and you know, everything is coming together pretty nicely. So you're just gonna let that simmer probably for like about another 5 minutes, and your soup is going to be done. You can plate it up, put it in a bowl, eat as much as you want. You can also have this, so like it's just me and my husband, so we had enough for really 2 days. I'm gonna say 2.5 days, because we ate some for dinner at the house, when we also ate some at work for our lunch, and then we had some for dinner the following day. So it does last, you know, especially if you have like 2 people in your homes. But you know, if you have a family of 4 or 6, it definitely will feed everybody. So yeah, I hope you all liked what I cooked in the kitchen today. Again, this is my homemade chicken noodle soup, as well as the garlic bread. And I'll have the recipe to the garlic bread inside the video description, as well as the link to the homemade chicken noodle soup recipe on my website at plussizeinchicago.com. So friends, if you're watching this on YouTube, TikTok, or Instagram, shout out to everyone who has subscribed to my channel, or maybe you're following me on one of those social media platforms. Thank you so much for coming back and cooking with me again. If you are new here, my name is Angela, and this is my account Plus Size in Chicago, where I make a lot of easy to cook comfort food meals. You'll also see me reviewing different restaurants in the greater Chicagoland area, or maybe showing you some places I ate while on vacation. Be sure to subscribe or follow me. Also leave a comment and share this video with your friends and family. I'll see you guys next time.